grown women to not tug on and low down dirty shame. And he got loose. He made plays. And his defense made the requisite plays and the required plays that you need to win the game in Chicago. And so now they go into this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're supposed to have Mike Thomas back. And so we really get to see what the Saints are made of. But it's about this defense. This defense steps up, they can win the NFC. And at number 4, we are going to Seattle. And they said at the beginning of the season, we're going to let Russ cook. And Russ has been cooking. But when you have the ingredients of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, you can make a meal that can serve thousands. And that's what Russell Wilson has been doing. But he ain't only been cooking, he been working to buy the groceries. He goes shop, and then he gets in the kitchen and does his thing. They have a big game against the Bills. You get new help up front with Carlos Dunlap. You have Jamal Adams coming back. This is the team that's 6-1. They only lost to the Arizona Cardinals and have an opportunity to have the best record thus far in the season. And I love what they are doing. At number 3, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tampa Bay, you can do whatever you want because you have all the pieces. You woke up in the morning and you got Tom Brady. The next day, you got Rob Gronkowski, and you were like, oh, look, maybe we'll scoop Leonard Fournette. And after halfway through the season, after being 6-2, after showing us how great you can be, you add Antonio Brown, one of the greatest wide receivers of our era. And he is fresh. I'm talking about minty fresh, Mentos fresh, any type of spearmint gum you want to chew. That's how good and fresh Antonio Brown is right now. And who's going to stop him? Then you look defensively, Devin White, Levante David. This team can flat out go, but you have to see what they do this week against the Saints to see how much they improve. At number 2, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know they're like, RC, you played for Pittsburgh. You got the terrible towel in your lap. Why aren't they number 1? I'm getting hit up on Twitter by people that play in Pittsburgh. Like, yeah, bro, we had you on in the training room and you had us at number 3 and you was lightweight throwing shade. I'm not throwing shade. I'm throwing truth. I still need to see a little bit more out of this team for it to be my number 1. I know you guys are undefeated, but I need consistency. I need to see it every play, every quarter, every down. And I haven't seen that yet, but this team is right there. One of the greatest coaches I've ever played for, one of the greatest coaches in the game, Mike Tomlin, is keeping this team going, and the standard has stayed the standard. And at number 1 is the Kansas City Chiefs, right back where they started the season. Patrick Mahomes has been flat out amazing. Patrick Mahomes has been so good that the only reason we aren't talking about him more for MVP is because he was probably a better Patrick Mahomes 2 years ago. 21 touchdowns. 1 interception. This team is rolling. Adding Le'Veon Bell. Defense making plays. Getting turnovers. Tyrann Mathieu leading that crew. This team is still the team to beat because we all know if it gets down to crunch time, you can be up 21. You can be up 24. They do not care because they have Patrick Mahomes, and he is the ultimate equalizer. So it's the Kansas City Chiefs atop my power rankings this week. I don't really think people are going to have much to say about this. I believe I did a good job. So let's move on to the next topic, Greeny.
Okay. I like it. You're right. No one will have a thing to say about any of the choices you just made. All right. I'm going to give several members of the crew 45 seconds to look at the big games this weekend and give me the most important player in them. Actually, RC, it starts with you. Bears, Titans, who do you have your eye on?
I have 2 important players, Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan. This is going to be a Derrick Henry type game. What can those 2 players do to stop him? They were really big last week against Alvin Kamara. I thought that was a huge matchup, and they allowed Alvin Kamara to make some plays. These guys didn't play well early on in the season. The run game was hurting the Chicago Bears. If they want to win, they got to stop Derrick Henry first, and those 2 players are going to be very important as to how that goes. You stop the run, now you can get after the quarterback and Ryan Tannehill, and we expect that they'll be able to move the ball offensively. But if you don't stop Derrick Henry and he gets rolling, this could be one of those 200-yard type of days, especially coming off a loss for the Tennessee Titans to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, it's a game that feels like the Titans need it, and obviously the Bears do because no one seems to be buying into them. All right, another huge game this weekend, Seahawks, Bills. Ninkovich, 45 seconds. Who's the most important player?
Look, you think of the Seahawks, you think Metcalf, you think Russell Wilson, but it's not on offense. It's on defense. It's Jamal Adams coming back for the Seahawks, who, guess what? They need to stop somebody on defense. If you expect the Seattle Seahawks to do anything in the playoffs, they need a defense. This isn't back in the day when they had the boom going on with a great secondary and a great pass rush. Right now, they're one of the worst, if not the worst defense in the league right now. So if the Seattle Seahawks want to be a contender for a Super Bowl, they need Jamal Adams to go out there, be a leader, get everyone lined up, start to stop people from throwing the ball all over the place. Jamal Adams is going to be the most important player coming back for Seattle in this matchup.
That's a good pick as he returns from injury, and obviously he knows these Bills and knows playing against Josh Allen from his days in the AFC East. All right, Sanchez, you've got Ravens, Colts, another fascinating game this week. Who's the player you have your eye on? 45 seconds.
The most important player this week, it's Phillip Rivers. He seems to play well at home in Indy. He's an older guy. They like playing in the dome like that. And he gets a Baltimore team that got physically beat up last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they're coming into this game with their tail between their legs a little bit. They're going to be hungry those first couple quarters. It's on Phillip Rivers to not have one of those games where he implodes in the first half. He's got to be solid in the first half, keep the Ravens down, and attack these guys in the second half. Finish this game. He's throwing 10 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He's got to widen that margin big time, and it starts this week if they want to have a chance. He's coming off a great game against the Lions, 123 rating, so he's really got to keep that going.
It's a really interesting thought. Just super quickly, if I could, RC, you said Steelers-Ravens, you called it a Thursday game because you still feel it by Thursday. Do you think there is a factor in that the Ravens will have a hard time bouncing back after that physical battle against the Steelers?
I do. I think it's always tough to reset. So much is made of the rivalry and what happens to you physically, but it's also mentally, it's also emotional. And when you lose that game, it's even worse. So to rebound, to bounce back after there's been so much coverage of it, after you put so much into it and you don't play well, and also the physical beatings that you take in that type of matchup, I definitely believe it's a hangover, and they're going to play a really good Indianapolis Colts team.
Now, I really wish we had had this conversation before I recorded my picks because you're now making me rethink that one. But we record these on Wednesdays. Here they come. My picks for every game on Sunday in 3, 2, and 1. Seahawks, Bills. One good young quarterback getting better. One great old one playing like the best of anyone in the league. I'll take the MVP, 31-23. Bears, Titans. Tennessee needs to get its mojo back. Chicago needs to figure out if it ever really had any. When in doubt, go with the stiff arm, 23-16. The Ravens, Colts, Indy, and its old quarterback playing better and better, but this is a step up in class. Baltimore starts a strong second half with a statement, 30-17. Giants, Washington. Last time they met, Ron Rivera spared us overtime by going for 2. That might cost his team the division. In the NFC least, they still have a chance. Washington, 20-10. Steelers, Cowboys reminds you of the legendary meetings of the 70s. On second thought, no it doesn't, because Roger Staubach might start for Dallas this week, and he's 78 years old. Pittsburgh, 31-6. Dolphins, Cardinals, the quarterback matchup alone worth the price of admission. I'm excited to see Tua. I'm all in on Kyler. Arizona, 26-24. Finally, oh, what a